Wednesday afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another video. As you see, I'm back down on my Stephen King shelf, down in my library. So, as promised, I'm finally going to give you my thoughts and review on The Gunslinger, Dark Tower 1. So, I recently wrapped this up in August, and I took a little Labor Day weekend vacation, so you're finally going to see this video. So, The Gunslinger Dark Tower #1 was released in 1982 as So, The Gunslinger was released in 1982, and the interesting thing about this book is that it wasn't released as a book first, but it was released in 5 separate issues of Science Fiction and Fantasy magazine. So, Stephen King released 5 chapters during that run, and later on, The Gunslinger was published and born. So, let's talk about it. And this is basically like a prologue to the Dark Tower saga, because this is like an introduction to Roland Deschain of Gilead, which is the last gunslinger in his world, and he's on the pursuit of the Man in Black, which is some kind of super powered creature or whatever. Again, this is the first book, so I clearly don't know much about it, but I'm going to give you as much as I can. So, like I said, this is like split up into 5 chapters, and these are the chapters here: The Gunslinger, The Way Station, The Oracle in the Mountains, The Slow Mutants, and The Gunslinger and the Man in Black. But the first chapter here just introduces Roland, and he is going through the desert, and he meets, I think his name is Court. Yeah, I think his name is Court, so he's basically like an old man that has like a vulture as a pet that talks, I think. And this man just helps him out through his journey. He shows up very briefly throughout the book, but maybe he's more of a central character when I get deeper in here. But that's pretty much the first chapter. But near the end of the first chapter, you get like your first action set piece where there's like a religious revolt going against Roland Deschain, and he tries to survive that. But then he goes to like the Way Station, which is where he meets Jake Chambers, which was a 12-year-old boy who got hit by like a car in New York. So somehow Jake Chambers ended up in this world, and now he is a companion to Roland Deschain. I really did enjoy their companionship, but once you get further into the novel, like in chapter 3, Roland actually leaves Jake to talk to the Oracle, and the Oracle helps Roland decide where the Man in Black really is. So, in chapter 4, that introduces the slow mutants, and Roland and Jake are like on this train that talks. And there doesn't seem to be that much action in there, but it was a pretty long chapter. I will say that this is a very, very slow book, but I read it pretty fast, which was very surprising to me. And the way this thing wraps up is basically the gunslinger having a conversation with the man in black. And it gets very philosophical near the end. I mean, forgot what page it's on, but there's like a quote that I want to show you. This is a quote on page 242, and it gets very philosophical in here. This is the second monologue, so bear with me. Think how small such a concept of things makes us, Gunslinger. If a God watches over it all, does he actually mete out justice for a race of gnats among an infinitude of races of gnats? Does his eyes see the sparrow fall when the sparrow is less than a speck of hydrogen floating disconnected in the depth of space? And if it does see, what must the nature of such a God be? Where does he live? How is it possible to live beyond infinity? So that section of that quote kind of like stood out to me because it talks about how would you like even live throughout infinity. It's actually a pretty smart quote. And I gotta say, the ending of this book really makes you feel dumb in a way. But I understood, like, all of it. So, I gotta say, this is probably gonna be the start of a good series. And I know a lot of people really don't care that much for this book. I understand that because it is very slow and most of the action starts in Drawing of the Three. But I really, really enjoyed this one. And for me, the Gunslinger gets 5 stars. So I don't really have much more to say, but since I'm doing this, once I get through all of the Dark Tower books, which is gonna take me a long time, I'll have a singular review for every single one, and then I'll rank them when I'm done. 7 more of these, but yeah, I just wanted to talk about this and give you guys my thoughts. So now I guess I'm on the path of the beam. Those are my thoughts on the Gunslinger. And as I guess since I talked about the Gunslinger, I guess I ought to share with you the next Stephen King book I'm going to read, and that is Doomakey, which is on my nightstand right now. I'm going to start that as soon as like the weekend, so that's my next Stephen King book, and after that is going to be The Drawing of the Three. And then, after all those, or after both of those are knocked out, I'm finally going to give you guys part 3 of my Stephen King TBR. And let's say it's going to be very Dark Tower heavy, because I really want to continue with this series and read it at my own pace and not as fast as I can, because this is a very complex series and I want to savor every minute of it. So, yeah. That's all I got for this video. And probably later on tonight, I got a review for my next horror movie, which I watched Monday. You'll get that. An Equalizer 3 movie review. And the start of my Saw series. So stay tuned. Got a lot of exciting stuff coming out in like the next couple days. I'll also have The Nun 2 coming out by the weekend. I'm going to go see that Friday, so you'll get a review for that. And much more stuff. And I hope to give you guys some more book content. I mean, I know I'm like more into movies, but I'm starting to like come up with ideas for different book videos. Like in October, I got like quite a few planned, but I won't tell you guys that until the time comes. So be patient with me, and that's all I got for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios. Peace.